Does not look like we're going to get a quorum by 7. But never
Looks
say
like
never.
a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So I believe we need 9. We're now up to 8. So we need one more. And that's 9. So now we'll just give it another minute.
How you guys doing?
Hanging in there.
It's been a day. Day that ends in Y.
How do I feel?
This time I remembered to hit record, so we will actually have
Yay.
a meeting recording this time.
Hooray. All right, it's 7 o'clock. I will go ahead and call this meeting to order. Is there objection to adopting the agenda as shown on the screen?
I don't currently see the agenda on screen.
Is it?
Is anyone else having difficulty seeing the agenda being shared from Sergio's screen?
I see it.
Mr. Ortega.
Okay. Is it visible? Everyone sees it?
I will just try refreshing and see what happens.
I mean, I see it.
Might just be on his end, but the only change
I don't know what that was.
The only change I will note is that we've moved reports from after business to before. So that was at the request of our.
I've not used these before, I don't think.
All right, let's try this again. Is there objection to adopting the agenda as shown on your screen? Hearing none, the agenda is adopted. Okay, moving along to Chair's report. As you may have noticed, I have assumed the position of acting chair. Mr. Bell is currently suspended and has 53 days to appeal suspension. So far, an appeal has not been received. Upon receipt, we will begin the arbitration process. I sent out a statement regarding the Region 2 situation last week. There was discussion on a joint statement with all the Region 2 states. It appears that is not going to happen at this point. So it's just individual states have sent their own statements. The committee directors are currently getting set up. If you are a committee director and you do not have access to things that you need access to, please let me know after this meeting. The National Convention is coming up May 21st to 25th. If you know someone who was a state delegate who is either going to national or interested in going to national and being a national delegate, and they would like to be an unranked alternate, please have them reach out to me. And sooner is better than later, because I cannot get people set up instantaneously. So please do not wait until Wednesday while I'm driving up to Michigan to ask. Please do it before. There's currently a new Region 2 agreement being drafted, assuming we want to stay in Region 2. I have made sure that the drafts will include the requirement adopted by our state convention for allowing the Georgia XCOM to vote to leave any such agreement. And then lastly, as a reminder, we have Range Day coming up on June 13th. It's a great event, good fundraiser, please come. And that is what I have for my report, unless there are any questions, which I will take now. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, do you have word on the the number of tickets that have been sold for Range Day?
I believe we're currently at 4.
4 tickets for Range Day? Well, I just encourage the executive committee to spread the word to everyone who would like to help an outreach and a fundraiser for the Libertarian Party of Georgia. Thank you.
Yep, it's definitely a great event. It's a good value for what you're getting. Definitely spread the word. Any other questions? Hearing none, we will move right along to the Secretary's report.
This will be a short report because I don't plan on reading any of this unless someone here really wants me to. We had the e-ballots for director positions. We filled all of them as shown on screen. We also filled, well, we did not fill a vacancy for the executive committee that has been kept vacant. But director positions, all but one was filled. We also had a assorted number of electronic ballots over the past few days. Thanks, guys. Those results are on screen. So, again, unless anyone here is very passionate about me reading this out, I do not plan to do so.
All right, thank you, Mr. Secretary. We will now go to the Treasurer's report, and I do not believe that Mr. Craig is here, so without objection, we will hear the report given by Mr. Mosley instead.
Good. Okay, everybody, am I hearable?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, for those of you who want to look at the Treasurer's report in a browser, I have just posted the URL in chat, and we will move on. Okay.
That's Party Chicken Press.
So, Sergio, are you getting the Treasurer's report up?
Is it not up? Is it not up for anyone else? Is my stream really that bad?
I see it.
Yes.
It's
Mine
toggling
keeps saying
back
that
and
you're.
forth for me, but
Yeah.
Here, let me.
Same for me. It
stop.
keeps saying that.
And then,
Mine keeps saying that you're having bandwidth issues.
If you are unable to see the report on your screen, Mr. Mosley has posted a link to the report in chat.
yeah, that link will take you right to the PDF of the report. Okay, well, let's just move on. Page 1. This is just redundant. It's just a standing reminder of the resolution we passed given our current financial situation. So we can move on from there. Page 2. All of you are aware of this. This is just how I've separated out our income statements from what I call everything and discretionary. So I'm not going to go into those definitions again. This is self-explanatory. If anybody has questions, you know how to contact me. Okay, moving on. We have page 3. This is our everything income statement. The month of March was a pretty easy month, bookkeeping wise. That's good for me, but it sucks for our bottom line. So this is the everything statement. It's almost exactly similar to the discretionary statement, which is on page 4. They differ by $180. Those are just the income statements. I'm just going to call that self-explanatory. Moving on to page 5. This is an amended discretionary income statement from February. I found an error of $80 that will reduce our discretionary income by that amount. So this is for all of you geeks out there that want to compare this one to February. If you want simple answers, just call me. That's that. Moving on to page 6. Okay, this is our balance statement. It is all good. All the money in the bank matches what is in our books. We did have a significant move of money in the month of April that I need to explain. This has to do with filing our FEC Form 3X. This was done by Jared at the last minute at my request to help out, and I appreciate his willingness to do that. Jared made a decision to move some money from what is our federal fund that had been holding our KVF money from last year, and to move some of that over into the leveling fund. Okay, I've noted that here, and I've noted the amount. So what we have now is potential confusion with KVF money mixed with leveling fund money, which needs to be rectified. I'm not going to dwell on this. I'm going to say that we do need to pull that apart and get it back to where it was. This is probably not going to get resolved until the Secretary of State refund money comes back next spring. So I'm just going to leave that as it is, just to make you aware. And also the highlighted part in yellow is the amount of money that's with the leveling fund. I'm sorry, that is with the Secretary of State right now that we're due to get back next March or next spring. But that's enough of that, unless anybody has any questions. Okay, let's move on to the fun part. Go to page 8. These are our authorized.net statistics. Hopefully this will be the last authorized.net statistics page I'll have to publish for you. Here's the situation. First of all charging activity through authorized.net is finished. There is no more. Okay. However, there is, unless we get this thing terminated in the month of May, there will be further charges from authorized.net that they will automatically take in our bank account. That's the only activity remaining with Authorize. So as far as all the charging activity is happening right now on Stripe, and I like it. Stripe seems to be much easier to deal with. Not to mention that they charge us less, 1/3 of what Authorized.net's been charging us. I have written software to automate about 85% of the Stripe batch to QuickBooks transaction sequence. Don't mean to be geeky there, but that's, I do have to, it does require some human interaction at the end, right before you upload to QuickBooks. The state of our situation right now, I do not see that being able to be automated 100% at the moment. Perhaps that will change. Okay, so Stripe is easier and it's cheaper. Okay, and it's going well. It is making my bookkeeping easier. All right. Let's see. Okay, we have already been charged the mystery fee and the gateway fees for Authorize.net in May. I went ahead and included this in the report. If all goes well, this will be the last time these people will be able to take money out of our account. But sadly, for the month of May, we've paid Authorize over $300 for nothing. Okay. All right. Enough of that. And then activity is stopped. So all the charge declines that we've been seeing, they're stopped also. So let's move on to page 9. This is probably the most important thing I need to speak to this evening. We are at the final step to getting rid of Authorize. Okay, all that's required right now is to get in touch with them, tell them to terminate our account. Here's the problem. I do not know their security protocol for authorized people. Now, I'd be fine to do it myself, and I'm happy to try it. I just don't think that I'm an authorized people. Okay. My original plan was to begin that process with Doug. I have him all set up with all the contact information he needs and the details to speak to somebody on the other side. But Doug is an authorized people. I'm not. So Doug is, as you know, having some health problems at the moment. I am not planning on him being available to help us with this. We must get this done before June 1st. Okay? Or we're subject to more of these damn mystery fees. And those things have been as high as over $800. I do not think that once we get this started, it's going to take long, but that's in our face. I'm going to leave it at that. Y'all help me out. We've got to find an authorized people to get in touch with Authorize. I've got it all set up for you. If all goes well, that should actually only take a couple of minutes. And it's complicated with the National Convention later this month. So we have about 10 days to get this done before the National Convention. So, okay, enough of that. Unless there are any questions, I'll move on. Page 10, please, Sergio. Okay, so now we're back into the budget. And let me explain I made some significant changes with how I've been presenting it to you. The first significant change, Sergio, go ahead and scroll down to page 11. Okay. What page 11 is, it's a budget versus actual cash flow for discretionary money using the QuickBooks budget tool. And I generated this report. This report is in the QuickBooks format, and it is laid out month by month for the entire year of 2026. The numbers here for budget are the same as we agreed to on February 9th, 2026. Okay. So scroll back up to page 10, please, Sergio. Okay, good. So this is how I've been presenting it. I've changed it a bit to make it more intelligible for you. Let me just begin with, if you look at the expense forecasting tool on the second half of the page, and look at the black line down at the bottom of that spreadsheet. Those are the exact numbers that you agreed to on February the 9th. And they are the exact numbers that are in the QuickBooks budgeting tool. All right. I have set them to that. I've set them to be unchangeable until we actually change the budget. Okay. And those numbers will reflect up into the other spreadsheet in the upper left corner that's labeled 2026. Okay. So I hope that makes this more readable to you. It has been madness for me to sort all this out over the last few months. Another statement about the expense sheet. Those lines in yellow, those are potential expenses. Okay. For the last couple of months, I've made the error of adding the potential expense. So actually, some of them are actual, but what happens is I'm continuously getting surprised. I mean, I'm not even been doing this a year, and I'm still getting new stuff coming in that we have to pay for. And what just flew out of the blue about a week or so ago are domain registrations for multiple domain names. Okay. I have listed those on the left side of this. I'm not going to go into detail about them. I'm just making you aware that we will be paying for some of this. All the stuff from GoDaddy, we probably already paid for it. I just haven't checked the bank account. So that will need to be included in the budget sooner or later, but I'm not going to change this expense grid until I actually have a decision. Okay. And then finally about the budget is just the graph down at the bottom. Once again, this is a graph of month by month discretionary income over 4 years. And our goal is to, for the last 3.5 years, we've been continuously running in the negative for discretionary income, which is a very not good place to be. And we're working to turn this around, and we show budding signs of life. If you look to the right around the green arrow, we've had 3 profitable months in a row. However, they're small, like less than $200. So that's great. That's a sign of life. It's a sign of progress, but we remain on the razor's edge. So everybody needs to be clear about that. We are far from out of the woods. We need to get our net profitability, discretionary profitability up to $1,000 or more consistently every month. And I believe we can do that by the end of this year. Everything to the right of the green arrow is based on speculative numbers. Okay. Just quickly, the final page. We're all caught up on our filings. This is our upcoming filing schedule. And that's it from me. Questions?
Okay, seeing none, we'll move along to director applications. Mr. Secretary, have you received any applications for bylaws director?
For Bylaws Director, I received indication of interest. I did not receive an application itself. So if we want to proceed, if the acting chair wants to go ahead and make that appointment and we vote on it today, or wait for an application, that is your prerogative. But we did receive an application for convention director from Alan Hill, who is on call today. So
All right, let's dispose of convention director first. Is there objection to opening nominations for convention director? Hearing none, nominations for convention director are now open.
Mr. Chair, I nominate Alan Hill for convention director.
All right, Alan Hill is nominated. Are there any other nominations? Is there objection to closing nominations? Hearing none, nominations are now closed. Is there any debate?
Mr. Hill is on call if he's interested in speaking for the position.
Yeah. Is there objection to allowing Mr. Hill to speak to his nomination?
That's if he's interested. Yeah.
Or if he,
I don't want to.
yeah,
I don't want to push the mic into
Mr. Hill, do you accept the nomination?
And that too.
I accept the nomination.
Okay, so the nomination is accepted. Would you like to speak to your nomination? You are muted if you're attempting to speak, Mr. Hill.
Sorry about that. I don't want to speak, but I could say a couple words that I just want to start to get the ball running with the convention, so we don't planning, so we don't have to wait and rush to plan the convention for next year.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion? Or if anyone would like to make a motion regarding how to vote on this appointment, I will also hear that now.
Will it be so offensive if I recommend or ask the body for, what's the word? Approval by acclamation? Since it's just one person.
But I mean, we can just go to a vote. If we are prepared to vote.
That's also an option. Yeah.
Okay. All
Okay.
those in favor of Mr. Hill for convention director, please raise your hand. Okay, you may lower your hands. Mr. Mandarini, you still have your hand up.
Oh, so
Okay, all those in favor of Noda, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, Mr. Hill is now our new convention director. Congratulations. And now moving along, is there objection to opening nominations for bylaws director at this time? Hearing none, nominations are now open. Mr. Davis.
I nominate Mr. Sergio Ortega.
No, that's not. Decline.
Mr. Ortega has refused the nomination. Are there any other nominations?
Mr. Chair, I nominate Amber for the position. Amber Howell.
Okay, Ms. Howell has been nominated. Ms. Howell, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Okay, nomination accepted. Are there any other nominations? Is there objection to closing nominations at this time? Hearing none, nominations are now closed. Ms. Howell, would you like to speak to your nomination?
I have been on bylaws. I think I've been bylaws chair maybe 2 years before. Sorry, I got distracted doing the application, did not finish it. um, but yeah, I think we've got some good ideas already in there and just need some finessing. And yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Is there any debate?
Just one question. Do you have any thoughts on the proposal to shrink XCOM?
I think it needs to be dependent on a percentage of our membership. I think it's a good idea because if we have 200, if we only have 150 or 200 members and we have an XCOM of 25 people, that's a lot. And we have trouble filling seats, but it needs to be proportionate to our membership, I feel like.
Okay, I concur. Just wanted to ask.
Any other discussion? Mr. Johnson?
Yes, excuse me. I'd just like to know what are the ideas that are being kicked around on changes to the bylaws?
Could you repeat your question, Mr. Johnson?
I'm sorry, what did I do wrong?
That came in a little garbled.
Oh, I came in garbled. I was wanting a brief description of the changes, the possible changes to the bylaws that are being thought about or discussed.
Are they still going? Oh, okay.
Oh, y'all can't hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I heard
We
that
do not
fine.
currently have a bylaws committee. There is, I know one proposal that I made last year that did not get a chance to be vetted to bring our bylaws in line with state law. But as far as what's actually going to be considered by this new bylaws committee, that will be up to the new bylaws committee.
Well, that's what I was asking if Amber had ideas about that. And I don't even care if it meets state law personally.
Sorry.
That would be a good thing to do, though. It would be bad if our bylaws went against, because that would discredit. Um, there's that one. There's some procedural stuff because bylaws contradict one or the other way around. I haven't been in that committee in probably 2 years, so I don't know what's in the channel right now. But those are the ones I've heard.
I've got the channel up on screen, and there's a proposal from Brian. There's one from me from March about redoing the bylaw on how membership is defined. And then, as usual, the fight about a judicial committee. So those are probably the top three that are going to hit
Yeah.
this bylaws committee.
All right. Is there any other discussion? Are we ready to vote? Okay. All those in favor of Ms. Howe for bylaws director, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Can lower your hands now. All those in favor of noting. All right, congratulations, Ms. Howe. You are the bylaws director. Okay. Mr. Secretary, have you received any applications for any other director positions?
No. No. It would help if I unmuted. No, I have not. I know of some talk of membership director, and I think you mentioned Katie Gordon was interested in membership director. I don't know if that's still something that we want to consider today.
Yeah, I'm doing outreach, but I think outreach and membership almost go together.
All right, so I'm going to take that as an interest, and we can open nominations for that.
Okay, is there objection to opening nominations for membership director? Okay, hearing none, nominations are now open.
Oh, this is my job. Sorry. I nominate Katie Gordon for membership director.
Ms. Gordon, do you accept?
I accept.
Okay, is there a second?
Second that.
Second.
Okay, there's a second. Okay, Ms. Gordon, would you like to speak to your nomination?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm already working on, I've got my first thing set up in the Athens area in July. Already got one speaker. And the goal with what I'm going to be doing as far as that is bringing people in, teaching them about the party and just, doing my, Liberty, Liberty tour across the state and hopefully be able to increase the numbers. We're what? A little over 200. Would love to see the next year that go up to 500. People are looking for something different now, and now is the best time for us to get out there and do the work and talk to people about liberty and what it means to be a libertarian. So yeah, so I feel like both, since we don't have anybody else wanting to do that, I feel like they can, outreach and membership can go hand in hand.
All right, thank you. Are there any other nominations for membership director? Is there any objection to closing nominations for membership director? Hearing none, nominations are now closed. Is there any debate? Mr. Johnson.
What's the thing going on in July? It's not debate. Does it have to be debate?
You could raise a point of information.
Yeah, I would like to raise that. Yes.
Yes, so that would be with Ms. Gordon in her role as outreach director. Okay. If you would like to speak to that, Ms. Gordon.
Yeah, absolutely. So working on setting up kind of like in the Athens area. You're going to advertise it, going to have some speakers. I've got somebody, already coming in to speak about, talk about guns and Second Amendment. So, try to have 3 speakers, going to advertise it. Right now, just kind of a grassroots. It's, just finding, locations and settings and, isn't really going to cost us a lot of money and just trying to get people there to kind of listen and talk and learn about the party. Going to have maybe some fun little games and things like that. Going to be working with, each affiliate. I think that's important as well. Because they know their areas and they know, maybe the best places to be able to have these events. They also know the people in their area and maybe, the best way to try to, advertise and get the word out there. So that's kind of, my idea jumping in. I got my first one set up in July. It's my guinea pig. So we're going to see how it goes.
Well, is there a date and time and a location?
Yeah, I did post it.
Oh, shoot, sorry.
Yeah. It's hold on, let me grab my calendar. It is July the 1st. It's going to be 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. location. Sorting all of that out right now, but I'll have the details in the next couple weeks with speakers and things like that. And if anybody would like to, as a, go throughout the state, would like to speak on, an issue, that would be great. Typically, look at what the people want to hear about, what they care about, particularly right now, look at the hot topics right now. And that's what I'm going to try to get some, like-minded libertarians to come in and speak about in the community. So that's kind of my ideas. And that's what I'm running with.
Okay.
What
thank you,
would
Ms.
it look
Gordon.
like if as many of us showed up as could? Would that be acceptable?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I mean, I think the more of you guys that come, and you know what, if you guys want to come and one of you guys, want to speak on something, that would be great as well. But yeah, no, absolutely. I encourage it. I encourage it. It kind of gives us a little, opportunity too to get to know each other better and work together. Because guys, I mean, we don't have a lot of membership, and look at us. I mean, it's us. We're doing all the work, right? And I think it's good for us to keep morale up and spend some time together, have fun. I love, affiliate meetings and things like that. So absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll have more details to come. We'll be reaching out to the different affiliates in the upcoming months to get some information from you guys.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Is there any discussion regarding Ms. Gordon's appointment for membership director? Hearing none, are we ready to vote? All right. All those in favor of Katie Gordon for membership director, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. And lower your hands. All those in favor of Noda, please raise your hand. All right, congratulations, Ms. Gordon. You are now membership director. All right, moving along. Is Mr. Hatcher still on the call? Yes, he is.
Yes. Sorry, the form went long. I apologize.
That's perfectly fine. You're right on time for us. Is there any objection to giving Mr. Hatcher 5 minutes to speak to a potential endorsement? Hearing none, Mr. Hatcher, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for letting me come speak. I am Kerry Hatcher. I'm running for school board here in Macon, Bibb County. I am a long-term libertarian, and although when it comes to education specifically, whether or not we have a public education is kind of decided at the state level. So my thought is to get it involved in as much as I possibly can at the local level to ensure that within the framework that already exists, we're able to educate young people to know their rights and responsibilities as independent adults so that they can participate well in a free and liberty-focused society. Some of the conversations that I've already had that brought up with some people is things like improving shooting sports programs here in town, because there's really not any at the moment, and how that could lead towards better outcomes with some of the gun violence that we face on a day-to-day basis here in Macon. If you don't know, Macon actually has some of the highest violent crime rates in the whole state. We also have some of the highest rates of poverty. It's twice the state average and significantly higher than the national average. And a lot of that has to do with just institutional barriers to simple things like starting a business, the abrasive planning and zoning rules, and those sort of things. And there's an opportunity for us to sort of move that forward within the existing framework, if you will. I'm a father. I have 3 kids in elementary school at the moment. I'm a soldier in the Georgia State Defense Force, the 3rd branch of the state military. I'm a regular volunteer in our local emergency management agency. I'm actually the liaison between Macon Bibb EMA and the state of Georgia for whenever there's a disaster or what have you. So I'm big into community service. I'm big into improving my community as best I can, preferably outside of government, but it does exist nonetheless. So I have to work within that framework. Gosh, Oh, my biggest stick overall for my whole campaign has been transparency. And it has been a big thing is going through and making sure that every line item, every dollar that's spent is accounted for. Right now, the school system is involved in a lawsuit to keep spending secret. Despite the Attorney General's ruling against them, they're still fighting it tooth and nail to keep it secret about who's getting paid what and why. And I do genuinely believe that there's some circle of corruption there. And it seems like the only way to pierce that veil is to just get onto the board so I can see the man behind the curtain, if you will. And that is truly, I think, one of the most important things when it comes to ensuring that if there is going to be some tax dollars spent, that they are spent appropriately and not fraudulently and inappropriately. I've gotten a lot of support from various other organizations that are tend to be progressive in nature, mostly just because of my focus on that sort of transparency and not on other topics, because that is such a cross-partisan, cross-ideological mindset. It's like, hey, we can all agree that whatever tax money is collected, it needs to be accounted for and it needs to be spent appropriately. So I've been happy to work through with the Working Families Party with an endorsement from them. And it was funny, when one of my very first early meetings, I was like, I'm a libertarian, this, that, and the other. And they're like, well, we've never considered endorsing a libertarian before, but I guess there's a first time for everything. and her ultimate statement was, if you believe in improving things the way you say you do, I don't see that there's any sort of incongruity with your beliefs and our beliefs. We just may disagree on which road to take to get there. And I guess I'll stop rambling now.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hatcher. Is there a motion? Let's get a motion and then we can go into discussion and debate. Mr. Mosley.
Well, I just had a comment, but I guess we'll wait until we have a motion.
Okay.
So I can make the motion.
All right.
I move that we endorse Kerry Hatcher for his school board position. And that's it.
All right. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Is there discussion, debate? Mr. Mosley.
Yes, I wanted to make everybody aware of, I've actually met Kerry in person. I met him at a meeting in Macon and at the King's Day event in Macon last spring. And I just want everybody to know that I found him to be very personable, very well spoken, and definitely passionate about what he's doing running for school board. But the most important thing that I want everybody to know is that Kerry exemplifies something that most of us ought to be doing, but we are not. He actually attends the local Macon school board meetings. He's got lots of documentation on his website. And so I'm encouraging everyone to endorse his race. If no other reason, then we need examples of what to do. And from my knowing of Kerry, he knows what to do. He mixes with the community well. And as he just mentioned in his talk, he's talking to reporters, and I hope that this is just a slam dunk for this board. So please endorse Kerry Hatcher for his school board position. I'm finished.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ortega.
Yeah, I just quickly wanted to ask if you know the status of school choice in Bibb County, because I know some school boards are very much not in favor of these scholarships that take money from public schools to private schools because they think of it as like taking money out of public schools when it's more so letting parents choose where their kids go to school. So I was kind of curious if you know what the situation is down there and if you have any, or like what your thoughts are on it.
Sure. Part of the problem with the current implementation of the school choice voucher program, particularly for the parents here in Bibb County, is that they can't afford it. Right? It's what, $6,500. That's, I think, less than half of the cheapest private school here in town, and we actually have some of the cheapest private schools. Another interesting thing is that we have more private schools per capita than I think anywhere else in the state. Our enrollment rate in private schools twice the average of the state, and a lot of that has to going way back decades, old history of Macon. Interestingly enough, Macon's actually pretty good when it comes to internal school choice. We have multiple not charter schools. Magnet schools. That's it. So you can actually apply to get into them, and they have different specialties, right? So my son goes to Alexander II. It's a STEM academy. I'm a software engineer myself. I do robotics, so it just kind of all like meshes together. And so there's a lot of choice within the system already. And so I think Macon's a good example of how that can work well, but then also kind of demonstrate how the current implementation as the legislature set up is not the best. If the voucher could cover an actual tuition at a private school, I don't think I'd have nearly as much problem with it. But as it sits now, you have people who already can't afford it just simply getting it for a little less. Then people who can't afford it get nothing.
Mr. Mandarini.
Yes. First, thank you, Mr. Hatcher, for being here to speak with us today. My question is kind of back on the topic of school choice, and that is that, are you saying that the issue with school choice as it sits is the way that it's designed and not the principle it's designed around?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I caught that correctly. And that was all I had. Thank you.
Is there any other debate? Are we ready to vote? Okay, before we vote, I need to make sure I have a count of everyone because this is a 2/3 vote of members currently here in order for this to pass. 1, 2. I count 19. Do you agree with me, Mr. Secretary?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
All those in favor of endorsing, please raise your hand. All right, you may lower your hands now. All opposed? Or Mr. Mandarini, you still have your hand up. Okay, all opposed? Okay, seeing none, this motion is adopted and Mr. Hatcher has been endorsed. Congratulations, Mr. Hatcher.
Hey, thank you so much.
And good luck on your race.
I guess a point of order, if you will. What should I do next to be able to just throw some graphics on, say that I did, or is there like a process?
We'll get you in touch with our candidate support, and if you have anything you would like us to send for us for like our social media stuff or for sending out, we can get in touch with that.
Sweet.
Yeah, let me know any handles or website that you have that you want us to link to.
Sure. Vote Hatcher. Vote Hatcher on Facebook and votehatcher.com on the internet.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to send it to me because I won't remember that.
Roger, will do.
Yeah, we'll get you all set up after the meeting. All right, moving right along. We have the first of 2 amendments to the budget. Ms. Ortega.
I should have had this pulled up. Give me a second to pull up Basecamp again. I've been tracking our expenses versus budget, and I see that Mr. Mesley is also now doing that. In my version, I haven't had a chance to look at the treasurer report to see if it matches, but if there's some discrepancy, we can hash that out later. We budgeted $600 for the executive director salary. That was for Elizabeth before she left. We actually gave 1,390, which is over budget by a good amount. If you guys can see the screen. So this motion is to amend the budget to bump this line item to 1,390 to cut off. So basically to fix that, or to reconcile that over expenditure, and to basically, finish off this line item for good, instead of having it sit in this awkward phase right now. So that is the motion.
Would you like to state that motion a bit more precisely?
Sure. I move to amend the 2026 LP Georgia annual budget for the executive director's salary item to $1,390.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's properly moved and seconded. Do you have anything more to say in regard to your motion, Mr. Ortega? Or did you already make it with your opening there?
I made it in the opening.
Okay. Is there any debate? Mr. Mosley?
Yes. I don't understand what's the point of retroactively updating a budget number. Okay, I'm not sure what it accomplishes. The February has passed, and okay, the budget number is way off the actual number. That's just a function of, you can blame it on me, my inaccurate information. But nonetheless, whether it's me or somebody else, it just doesn't make sense. I don't see that it accomplishes anything. And if anybody can explain to me what the reasoning is for this, because we're going to miss a lot of numbers. And if we go back and update all the numbers to match what actually transpired, I just fail to see how that serves anything. So that's my question. Can somebody answer that?
Mr. Ortega?
The only thing I'm trying to accomplish here is that technically, we're not allowed to make an expenditure over budget. So if we're getting nitpicky, Elizabeth's last few payments were not allowed, but obviously they're fine. They're well-reasoned payments for salary of the executive director. So this, by amending the budget, we would basically stamp and say, hey, we went over budget, but that's fine. We're going to change the budget to fix this issue, so that technically those last few payments are not, disallowed.
Mr. Mosley?
Okay, my answer to that is we are evolving this budget, and since I'm the only person that's like intimately involved in these books, I can tell you it's very confusing. It's very confusing to sort all this out. we are going to make mistakes. Now, as far as the technical point that Sergio brings up about, well, if we're over budget, we're not allowed to spend this. And I would say, yeah, generally, but this is an evolving process, and we have inaccurate information. Now, I'll give you an example right now. Technically, we've allotted $130 to pay QuickBooks every month. Actually, they are taking out $140 because they raised their prices after we made our budget decision. So, do we go back and amend the original or the numbers that are in the past, or we just look to the future and say, okay, beginning in May or June, we will budget $140 for QuickBooks. Okay, the whole thing for Elizabeth happened in the past, and it's just there. Okay, I don't see that it changes anything material, but it does give us a historical record of how confused we were. Okay, which is actually a good thing. Okay, so that's all for the moment.
All right, Mr. Graham.
Yeah, I was just going to say it could come with, like, the amendment to increase one budget should probably come with a reduction somewhere else. So at least we could see the cost of it. Otherwise, I'm totally on board with what Mark's saying, where it's over. We shouldn't have done it. And it's good to be able to see it still. But if we reduced it somewhere else, it's like we're saying, okay, we know we went over, and this is what it's going to cost us. This is a reduction here.
Okay. All right, Mr. Mosley, this is your number 2.
Okay, I'll be brief. I just want to say we're dealing with a very confusing situation. I've done my best to bring all this to light, and I think it's very important for all of us, especially the deeper you get into this, don't play money mind games with yourself. It doesn't, we have enough confusion to deal with without creating more confusion. Okay. And it is a point of confusion to say, oh, we agreed to $600 for Elizabeth in February, and oh, we paid her $1,390. That's just a fact happened in the past. If we try to change that and cover that up, I'm not saying they're trying to cover anything up. I'm just saying that you're creating confusion between what actually happened and what you would like to have happen. Okay, that's really all I'm saying. If we're going to amend the budget, let's talk about stuff in the future. Okay, not the past. That's my biggest point here. I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Is there any further debate? Ms. Owens.
Yes. Is there a way to simply add a note in there, an explanatory note, just explaining why we went over budget? That would seem simpler than trying to change what happened, trying to categorize it a different way. Is there some way to just put an asterisk there or a note that, yes, we went over budget, but here's why? I think that seems to be a simpler solution that wouldn't be confusing.
Okay. Is there any other debate? Are we ready for the question? All right, all those in favor of amending the 2026 LP Georgia budget to change the executive director's salary item to $1,390, please raise your hand. Okay, please lower your hands. All opposed, please raise your hand. Thank you. Please lower your hands. Having failed to reach a majority, this motion has been defeated. Okay, moving along to the second motion to amend the budget. Mr. Ortega?
Right. So this one basically just takes December's monthly budget and extends it and duplicates it for January, because our budget is technically supposed to extend until the end of the term, but right now we're only covered for December, and convention is in January. So that is my motion I move to amend the 2026 annual budget to include equal funding for January 2027 as allocated in December 2026 in the 2026 LP Georgia budget.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Would you like to speak in favor of your motion, Mr. Ortega?
I guess the only thing I'll add additionally is that if we don't, I mean, this is just how things have been done, that we include the end of the term, even if it's like outside of the calendar year, just because, you know, obviously the next XCOM can't account for January before they're sat, so that's our job.
Okay, thank you. Is there any debate? Mr. Mosley?
Okay, this one I object to, but it's for completely different reasons. As far as at amending our budget into the future, that's not a bad idea. But my objection is, I just think this is ill-timed. We're in a position of a lot of change and flux. Things are going to change once we get rid of authorize.net. And as we approach the end of the year, we will be better able to see what January should look like. So while I don't think it's a bad idea to look at January, right now we need to be looking at May and June and July, both in terms of our expenses and in terms of our ability to raise money. Okay, I think a lot of good things are going to happen for us if we stay focused. This distracts from our focus. In small ways, you could argue this is not a big deal, and it's not. I just don't. I just would prefer, Sergio, if you could just withdraw this and hold on to it for a few months, and let's deal with this in August, September, October. I think that would have more clarity about what's a sensible thing to do or to propose for January. So that's my objection.
All right, Mr. Ortega?
It's a fair objection because we are rolling this budget month by month, but I don't think I can withdraw it now that it's seconded. I'll have to ask the chair for guidance on that.
Yeah, once a motion is made, it belongs to the body and cannot be withdrawn by the maker of the motion.
But I'm convinced, so it's a fair point.
Mr. Davis?
So we can just vote it down and bring it back up later. No big deal, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Cool.
Is there any more debate? Are we ready for the question? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. All right, all those opposed to the motion, please raise your hand. All right, thank you. You can lower your hands. This motion is defeated, but maybe we'll bring it back up later. Moving along We now have discussion on LNC Regional Representative attempted removal / contingent motion to direct the acting chair to vote in favor. So, Mr. Ortega.
I don't remember why I introduced this. I think someone else wanted to talk, but I wrote my name down for some reason, so I don't recall who the original discussion proposer was. So I'll just relinquish it to the floor.
Okay, Mr. Jones. Okay, Mr. Mandarini.
I think you may have
Mr.
muted yourself, so unmuting.
Yeah, Mr. Mandarini.
Sorry, my apologies. So I can't get the screen share to be more than just this tiny square, but and I wanted to double check the language there to make sure. But based on what I heard, I think that for this discussion, we may need to move to executive session.
Okay, so I will take that as a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of discussing Region 2 business.
Am I mistaken? Was that not was that not us saying that, you know, our everything we've done since the direction of the chair to reverse the vote?
My understanding of this particular item was to give direction on any future votes regarding appointing Mr. McGee for the Region 2 rep.
Yeah.
All right, my misunderstanding. I can withdraw the motion.
Yes, now I remember.
Okay.
This was about how to proceed on the removal or the alleged removal. I'm just the thing.
Mr. Davis.
If that is the case, then yes, I'll remake the motion that we move into executive session in accordance with our bylaws.
I was just going to point out that Jonathan McGee is here as well.
Oh, he is.
Yes, he is still here. Okay. So the motion is to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing business related to a Region 2 vote. Do I have your motion correct, Mr. Mandarini?
I believe so, but I'm still questioning if it's necessary because what I had said was if Sergio is correct in that this was about the topic of the disciplinary discipline of an officer, then accordance with our bylaws, we need to go into executive session to discuss that topic. If it's not about that, then I don't need to make the motion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my understanding is that this particular item is not regarding the disciplinary action, but is rather discussing potential future actions if there are certain other actions that occur with Mr. McGee. So specifically to clarify, if Mr. McGee were to resign and then there were a vote to then re-elect him, this motion would be with regard to that. That is my understanding.
All right. With that understanding, I don't need to make a motion, and if there is one being entertained, then I withdraw it.
Okay, there was no second, so that is fine.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll, if it's fine, lead discussion and say that there is alleged to have been a removal. Some other, to my knowledge, some state chairs in the region are now asserting that Mr. McGee is removed. We have made a motion directing the chair not to vote in favor of that, and things happened. So now I guess the thing on the table is how to proceed from here. with regard to the removal, the alleged removal, or whatever. And assuming that the other chairs in the region make a motion to appoint and to fill the vacancy, I guess it is my request that this body direct either the chair or the acting chair to vote against the replacement and in favor of Mr. McGee for Region 2 rep. I don't think that requires executive session, but that's the intent of this motion now that I remember.
Okay, so let's clarify what your motion is, Mr. Ortega.
I move to direct the chair/acting chair to vote in favor of appointing Mr. Jonathan McGee to be LNC Region Rep 2.
Okay, is there a second?
Yeah, why not? I guess
Okay.
I can give Jonathan a second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Okay, and I have Mr. Johnson.
I don't even know if this is a point of inquiry or information, Mr. Chairman, but has the Region 2 representative been voted by the state chairs out?
So that is a matter of controversy. And so to be clear, with regard to Ms. Austin's question, this would not affect what the delegates at convention may choose to do. Mr. Davis.
I am offering to give a quick rundown of events if needed to catch people up who weren't watching at the time. Why there's contention, I mean.
Thank you. And as a reminder, Mr. McGee is in the chat. If there's no objection, I will allow him to answer any questions if people may have any. Mr. Mandarini.
Yeah, I'll ask a question of Mr. McGee. Where are you currently at in standing with your position as director from your understanding?
Well, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Good. Well, with regards to the sequence of events, effectively, I don't want to belabor the point here, but the regional agreement's pretty vague about the procedure for removing a regional rep, except that signatures are required. And so what happened was the Josiah Baker, the chair of Tennessee, attempted to remove me surreptitiously through a vote, which is not technically prescribed in the regional agreement. And so on, I believe it was late Wednesday evening, not this past one, but the one before that, apparently he was able to line up the votes of the Georgia chair and the Florida chair and the Mississippi chair to remove me via a ballot, which is not technically the procedure required by the regional agreement. The way that this was initially contested was the next day, the Alabama chair had no idea what was going on. And certainly I was not contacted whatsoever about this process. So I was also, very rudely awakened early Thursday morning to the information that I already had, at least 3 votes against me in a procedure that technically isn't prescribed by the regional agreement. So in the course of that Thursday, a number of people from various state parties in the region talked to the relevant chairs and were able to get them to reverse their votes. However, unilaterally, Mr. Baker had declared that this was going to be a removal as soon as the majority vote of the chairs was achieved, which again is nowhere prescribed in the regional agreement. And so, in an effort to correct, I guess, what was intended to be an ambush, both the Mississippi chair made a vote as an abstain, and Mr. Bowler, who is the Alabama chair, attempted to engage in debate, but at no point cast his vote on, or at least Thursday morning. And it was interpreted by Mr. Baker as somehow being a vote, and so he immediately closed the ballot, despite having no actual authority to do so. So as a result, very shortly after being contacted by a number of people, the Florida chair reversed his vote. And I think you guys are familiar with what happened in Georgia. So I won't bother you with that account. But at the end of the day, the attempted removal was not procedurally correct. Technically, by the regional agreement, what is required to remove a regional representative or alternate is at least 3 signatures. Well, in our case, 3. It's a majority of the chairs in the region, and that majority also has to represent a majority of the sustaining members in the region. So, for example, if Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee decided to remove, they wouldn't have enough of the sustaining membership to actually remove. Whereas Florida, Georgia, and whatever state would have more than enough sustaining membership to be able to remove a representative or alternate. So, but the procedure to actually remove is via submitting signatures of the chairs to the secretary per the regional agreement. So the fact of the matter is that the removal was conducted improperly. So that's really, I mean, are there any questions about that?
No, I guess my original question more specifically kind of asks, why is this, like, why are we needing you to resign and then be voted back in?
Right. Well, okay. So the issue here is that the argument that's going to come from the side that decided to attempt to improperly remove me is that, well, there was an objection, or that the objection to this vote wasn't placed timely, which I think is ridiculous. But the point here is that at the end of the day, the one way you can make this all go away is if I were to resign, because it would not be possible for me to resign if I had already been removed. So if I were to resign and a majority of chairs of the region were to reappoint me, it would be absolutely indisputable.
All right. Thank
It's
you, Mr.
really
McGee.
more a clarity issue. And again, I mean, if this is merely a request, certainly, you know, your affairs are your own. And so, you know, whatever you choose to do, don't get it twisted. That's your business. But I'm just asking a favor.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. McGee. Mr. Ortega.
Do you know if the LP Judicial Committee is a proper venue to settle this dispute, or if that's not something viable?
I don't think it's something viable because there's not enough time in which to handle it. So first of all, a petition would have to be submitted to the Judicial Committee, and it usually takes about a week for that to be, you know, given an up or down. And once it gets a thumbs up, the respondent gets a week to respond. Well, 2 weeks from now, the National Convention is going to be over, and we're going to have a new Judicial Committee. So it's effectively going to be moot.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any further debate? Mr. Davis.
I have known Jonathan for a few years now. I've had some bitter arguments with Jonathan.
Agreed.
And I am not going to sit and pretend that I think that Jonathan's always been perfect or anything else. I do know that, as I posted in Basecamp with the screenshots there, that the allegations that Mr. Bell made against Mr. McGee, that Jonathan has been incommunicado since last year, when Jonathan has the screenshots showing where he has sent Jared messages and Jared hasn't responded. And we've all seen where Jared doesn't respond to his chair email, as we had this problem with our email system through Ken Molman and everything else, that I think that's pretty clear where the problem is. And so, considering we have 10 days until convention, the idea that we're not going to have a region rep for our final, meeting of the LNC for that meeting is ridiculous to me. And so, to me, voting Jonathan back into place just undoes any potential nonsense here, even though I don't believe Jonathan was removed. And so, I will be voting in favor only so that this nonsense can be done. We can move on and get a new region agreement and go from there.
Okay. Is there any further debate? Are we ready for the question? Just to be clear, the motion is to direct the chair/acting chair to vote only for Jonathan McGee for Region 2 rep for the current term and any ballot to fill a vacancy stemming from the alleged removal. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All right. Thank you. Lower your hands. Miss Underwood? Did you lower your hand? Thank you. No. All right. Everyone, please lower your hands. All right. Now, all those opposed, raise your hand. Okay. Seeing none opposed, this motion is adopted, and the chair is directed to vote only for Jonathan McGee for Region 2 rep for the current term and any ballot to fill a vacancy stemming from the alleged removal.
Thank you, everyone.
And thank you for attending, Mr. McGee. Moving on to the last item on our printed agenda, discussion on national bylaws. Mr. Davis.
Yes. Ms. Amanda Griffiths is also here.
Please never call me Miss
to
Amanda
speak as
Griffiths
well.
again. Hello.
I mean, I think if I called you Mrs., you'd be even more angry. So, at the end of the day, the Libertarian Party is its membership. We can make the claim that LP Georgia is a business, and we can pretend that the business of LP Georgia exists as a separate entity. But there are 317 members of LP Georgia, represented by the 22 members currently on this XCOM. And our role is as the stewards of the voice of the members. Our bylaws and National's bylaws should similarly be the voice of the membership. As such, Amanda and I had been collecting information from members across the country, across states, and everyone here has been asked at some point the question of, what do you want to see the party do? What don't you want to see the party do? And what do you want to see the party do differently? We took those things to the National Bylaws Committee.
If
And the
I may,
National Bylaws
just
Committee.
as a point of information, we are on the National Bylaws Committee. So we and also Andrew Colsty is also part of this effort. So it's about a third of the National Bylaws Committee that's been a part of this. That's been a part of trying to bring members' voices to bylaws. I'll yield it back to Kyle for now.
And we found that the committee was strongly of the mind that experts could save us and that the members' voices didn't have the information to know what was best for them. We strongly believe that that's ridiculous and that the only people as libertarians who can rule your life and run your life is you. And this organization, like all organizations should be, is a voluntary one where we have come together to work together. We have taken those suggestions even after after the bylaws committee didn't want to hear them. And we, using the current bylaws of the party as a scaffolding, built a holistic change that is intended to give voice to those members.
We also did incorporate the more popular proposals from the bylaws committee. We understand that people's time is limited at convention. And so if we're hearing bylaws reports, then we want to be able to represent everyone's voices, even some of the parts of the committee proposals that we didn't necessarily agree with ourselves. This wasn't really about us having our own brainchild. We wanted to bring members' voices to the floor. So we do have a series of bylaw proposals. They're being hosted on a couple of different platforms. One is Google Docs, which everyone loves. Another is actually bylaws.thetorch.media, which is a much cleverer, and Kyle helped build this side by side of the 2024 bylaws alongside the proposed bylaws and then collapsible accordion rationale, so you can pull it out. I find that a bit more legible, but everyone is different. We're continuing to workshop it. We're continuing to get feedback. There are a few things to tweak, but we don't expect major substantive changes. We intend to introduce this at Grand Rapids in the form of a motion to, when the agenda is still on the floor, motion to amend the agenda to move one item of other business, specifically the hearing of member proposals, to just before the hearing of the bylaws committee report. What this does is it doesn't override hearing the committee bylaws report. It just brings the members' voices to the floor. This is a much less hostile thing to do than something like a floor substitution or saying in advance, okay, we're going to try to pass all these blanket changes and nobody gets to hear them. This is about it being heard. This is about having the more popular bylaws committee proposals being heard as well. And so what we are really asking for is this is a majority, simple majority vote. And we are hoping for people to give their thoughts on some of these proposals. And we know that we've spoken to several of you. I don't think we've managed to get into contact with everyone, but we have tried. We would love to get your thoughts on this, and we would love to have support in backing the members' voices at convention. I know I'm a bit of an interloper here, so I'll turn it back over to Kyle again.
I've added the link to that Google Doc as well as the Torch site. We also have a forum that I've also dropped in there. The forum lets you go article by article to try to give your comments that way. These have been beaten on by a lot of people. There's a lot of things in there that I don't necessarily love. It's not intended to be my report or Amanda's report or some whatever affiliation of ours you don't like or do like or anything else. It's intended to be something by the membership. We quickly found that asking people about what bylaws they want to see got no response. So we started asking the question of what you want to see the party do differently, and then tried to write bylaws to fit that. And so I think if there's questions, I'd love to hear them.
Are there any questions? I do not hear any. You still have 4 minutes, Mr. Davis, but if you would like to
review a few things, not in depth, but if that's all right, to talk about what some of these things do. So in fact, the Georgia executive committee was part of the inspiration for restructuring proposal for the LNC. The fact that this is a pretty big XCOM, and yet Georgia manages to do business in a very timely manner. I've sat in on New York XCOM meetings as well, which has 72 members, and they get things done very quickly. Sergio, that was your reaction to that. I was shocked too. Yes, they've got 72, and they get things done very quickly as well. And so part of it has to do with just the way that meetings are restructured. So when we were talking about making the LNC more inclusive with regard to having every state have a voice, that also meant going back and saying, okay, how do we restructure meetings so that there's less grandstanding? The premise of having a lot of business conducted online, which LP Georgia does, was very popular and was very powerful. So a lot of debate is moved to online fora where reports are able to be aggregated, where there is space for public and open comment. And then from there, you can have a much more streamlined process when it gets to the meeting, and it can be much more oriented towards speaking to the membership. That's one of the big things, one of the big changes that we have. Another allows for direct member participation in certain referenda. So direct officer recall. If there are bad actors on the LNC, the members can have a say in getting them off. And part of this has to do with, part of this draws from having built a platform for digital voting, virtual voting, which we've stress tested, and it does quite well. So we're continuing to test it, but it's been holding up very well when it comes to these mass member referenda. Another big provision is that we want affiliates to be rewarded, not just on the basis of presidential vote share or membership share, which are obviously very important, but based on activity. So we want to have active affiliates be able to get rewarded with more delegates at convention in the event that they have very stringent ballot access requirements, or in the event that they just have a very small population overall. So you've got to have a base rate problem when it gets to getting a good enough share of total membership. So we've reworked part of the delegate allocation formula as well. It's a set of changes, and they're very comprehensive, but it's meant to work together. It's meant to be a cohesive unit. That said, if it gets moved to the floor, things will be voted on individually. So we're not asking people to pass everything in here. We're saying there's probably going to be something in here that you're going to like. There's probably going to be stuff in here that you don't. Vote for what you like, whip for what you like, and tell us what's wrong with what you don't. So I've rambled enough.
If you were one of the people that didn't vote for Jonathan McGee, know that part of the bylaws changes is the removal of regions in general, instead having states having their own delegate. So you can get rid of Jonathan by voting for this instead. And I guess with 20 seconds to go, that's pretty much it from us.
Thanks for having us, guys.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Thank you, Ms. Griffith, for coming online tonight to share that with us. That brings us to the end of our agenda. Mr. Ortega.
I move to adjourn.
So motion adjourned. Is there a second?
Seconded.
All those in favor of adjournment, please raise your hand. Okay. Please lower them. All opposed? One. Thank you. All right. This meeting is adjourned at 8:37 p.m.
If anyone has any questions, Amanda and I can also hang around for a few minutes.
That was not so bad, but not so good either.
It was long for one of our meetings, but
Yeah.
not ridiculously.
Yeah.
To me, it's funny that we look at our meetings and it's like, oh my goodness, it went for an hour and 40 minutes. This is ridiculous.
In LP Wisconsin, we have, I think, 11 members on the XCOM who routinely show up, and we'll go 3 hours. It has nothing to do with committee size. I am firmly of the mind that the length of meetings has nothing to do with the size of the committee. If New York gets it done in an hour and we're over here in Wisconsin with 11 people struggling at 3, then it's something else. Thank you, Laura, so much.